Today I fucked up by letting my mom stay with me and my wife. So recently my mother has been wanting to visit me and my wife at our place. This is actually pretty unusual. She's never ever been to our apartment and I can't recall a time where we visited her without other family members, usually at least my brothers, visiting at the same time. She's been on an "I need to see where my baby's live" kick though, and I'm the last one of us to cave and give her a set of dates where she can visit. Don't get me wrong, I love my mom and my wife and her get along just fine. But I do have to admit that my idea of a fun time is not her pestering me to let her visit on such short notice that I can't really even get extra time off work. Though thankfully mine and my wife's coworkers were nice enough to trade some days with us, so at least my mom isn't sitting alone in an empty apartment most days. Now, my mom is an infamously nosy and interruptee person. My wife and I are people who enjoy some daily rituals. My mom is not the best at respecting those things. Our most sacred nightly ritual is mine and my wife's nightly naked cuddle session. Critically, this is not a euphemism. I'm actually asexual and my wife is demisexual. I really do just mean we like cuddling naked. It's quite intimate and sweet. My mother seemingly has a nose for when my wife and I have begun our cuddle session, because out of the 4 nights she stayed with us so far, she has walked in on or otherwise interrupted us every fucking night. And no, we haven't done this at the exact same time each night. We've been pushing our cuddle back later and later, and while this isn't the only time at night that my mom has found the need to suddenly ask us how to work the DVD player or if it's okay to eat the pretzels we have in the cupboard or if we have another blanket, it is the most annoying time for her to interrupt. I feel like a fool for not realizing that my mom would do this to us all the time, but hey, that's my fuck up. All I want is to be able to cuddle and talk to my wife for the final hour or two before drifting off to sleep without any interruptions. But alas, that shall have to wait until she leaves, it seems. Too long did not read. I made the mistake of letting my mom visit us at our home and she has interrupted mine and my wife's intimate cuddle sessions every goddamn day. Edit for clarity. Our door has a lock. After she walked in on us the first night we used it. She still knocks, asks to come in or for us to come out, and then asks her questions after that. So she has found a way to interrupt regardless. Edit 2 so that people will stop asking, commenting on this. Short of actually kicking my mother out, I've done everything to try to get it across to her to fuck off. I've told her how important this time is for me and my wife. I've told her not to disturb us multiple times, tried ignoring her, etc. Take this with a grain of salt, but I would be concerned that her behavior indicates she is shopping around you and your siblings' homes for the one she wants to live in when she can no longer live alone. Dude, I hope you know she's doing this on purpose. For whatever goddamn reason, I don't know. But this seems like some unhealthy narcissistic tendencies are at play. Once? Okay, maybe a mistake. Twice? That's weird. Every night? That's premeditated. You should talk to your wife and see how uncomfortable she feels about the situation. I've read too many posts where a nosy, overbearing, overly attached mom ends up having it out for the poor wife or girlfriend. I was overly nice and let my mother-in-law move in with us to our first home. Worst decision of my life. Don't do it. Ever. You get stuck. Where are you having these cuddling sessions? If it's in your bedroom then fair enough, but if it's in the living room, what the hell are you doing? How long is she with you for? We're going to bed now, Mom. Do you need anything before we go? No? Okay, please don't wake us up again tonight. Love you, good night. Why are some people so afraid to put their foot down? This has, I've tried nothing and am all out of ideas, vibes. Today I fucked up having my flash on at a yoga studio full of girls. Update. Sharing size for context. I am just under 4 inches. I want to stress the fact that this is not small, just a hair under average. Before any of you get clever with the jokes. I, am 46, have been having some back issues and my doctor advised that I do some yoga to help with it. I was always reluctant to pay attention to it, but I finally decided to make a change. Went online and found a yoga class near me, signed up and I went. Once I arrived I was the only guy there, amongst a group of really attractive girls, all probably in their late 20s. I went up to the instructor and double-checked to see if this was the right class and she confirmed that I was. Moved back to my spot and was checking some messages on my phone as class was about to begin when all of a sudden the flash on my phone went off. Now I have this feature where when I get a message the flash on my camera goes off and I forgot to turn it off. The girls right near me turned around and were like, WTF, and one of them asked if I was taking pics. I assured them I was not and that it was this message feature. At this point there were about 5 girls around me and the instructor came over. She said she believed me, but just asked that I show them my photo gallery. I showed them, and there was nothing there. And then only of the girls said, "Make him show the trash folder," and that's when the fucked up starts. Sure. I said and opened the trash folder, and right there is a photo of me holding my penis right next to a measuring tape. I had been measuring it and just took a photo to get a better view of it. Don't ask lol. Some of the girls turned away and a few others started laughing. The instructor said that I am in the clear, but I could just tell she was trying to hold in her laugh. I was mortified. And I told the instructor that something came up and I'll come to the next session. Just drove home and I am typing this in my car. How should I handle this situation? Reddit. Is it that bad? This is at my favorite gym too. Is there any chance they just ignore this story and act like it never happened? Edit. The instructor was this gorgeous Asian girl, and seeing her trying not to laugh is the image in my head that haunts me. Too long did not read. Had my flash on at a yoga studio. Girls thought I was taking pics of them, but when trying to prove my innocence I ended up showing them a pic of my penis next to a measuring tape by accident. I definitely wouldn't go back there. I mean, you flashed them twice. I wouldn't sweat it, personally. They asked to look in your phone, they got what they deserved. Unless you have a micro penis, what do you have to be embarrassed about? The damage has been done, anyway. They've probably already had a good laugh about it, and won't care by the next time a class rolls around. The real thing to do would have been to ask someone to text you and show them the flash going off instead of letting them go through your pictures. Just pop a Viagra before you go back and hold your head up high. Is it that bad? It very much depends on how happy you are with the result shown by the measuring tape. Today I fucked up by helping a homeless woman. This one is fresh so it still stings. Early this morning I woke up to discover we were out of milk. Desperately needing a coffee, I jumped in the car and scooted off to the local grocer. Now, I live in a relatively well-to-do suburb, but since COVID we have had a few less fortunates move into the area. I parked my car and headed inside. As I stumbled through the aisles toward the milk fridges I saw a homeless woman. Barefoot, disheveled hair, baggy shirt, red eyes. I grabbed a bottle of milk and stumbled my way to the counter. As I was checking out, the homeless lady got in line behind me. Times are tough and I had this sudden desire to help this poor lady. So as I was leaving I pulled out a $20, held it out to her and said, "Things will get better." She blinked in surprise and just stared at me. Then suddenly she bursts out laughing. I'm left standing there feeling rather confused, still holding $20 out for her to take. "I'm not homeless," she says between cackles, "I'm a mother." Suddenly, at the next checkout another woman bursts into fits of laughter. We both look over and there is another woman, baggy shirt, messy hair. She gestures to her disheveled state and says, "Same." There is this momentary pause before both clerks and the two ladies all burst into fits of laughter. My face has never been redder. I was so incredibly embarrassed. I don't even know what I said to them but mumbled some apology and hurried out of there. I got into my car feeling like a total idiot and saw them both still cracking up and talking to each other as they left the store. I started up the car and began reversing just as the homeless woman got in her massive, expensive VW SUV. I don't know cars but I know it was a fancy car. Safe to say I think I will not be making that assumption again. Too long did not read. Mistook a woman for a homeless person. Turned out she was just a mother. Edit. For everyone wondering about the no shoes. I'm near the beach, and it's not frowned upon to walk around without shoes here, including at the grocer. But it was the combination of no shoes mixed with everything else that confused my pre-coffee brain. Man, as a mom myself, even I am laughing reading this. It's not your fault, but mom life can be rough. I once assumed that a woman was pregnant and asked about the due date. She replied that she just had Red Lobster for lunch and continued to rub her distended belly, skeptical smiley face. Don't feel too bad. If she has a partner, there's a 100% chance she will leverage this at home for more self-care time. I'm still confused about why she had no shoes on. Did she get into her car like that? But is it common for mothers to walk around grocery stores barefoot? Today I fucked up by giving my cousin a revolver. This happened at least 20-ish years ago now, and I thought I'd write this up after reading someone else's "Today I fucked up with an AR-15. My cousin is an overly sheltered by a very overprotective mother type of guy. He's a likable person, but doesn't have any friends outside of family. One day a friend of mine and I decided we wanted to go to a little outdoor shooting range and thought I'd be nice to get cousin K out of the house for a while. At the time of this event, I'd have been in my late 20s and cousin K would have been in his early 20s. Both my friend and I were raised, right, around firearms and are safe and have proper respect for a firearm and what they're capable of. Before handing a loaded gun to my cousin I went through all the safety instructions that had been ingrained in me. Don't have your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fire. Be certain of your target and what's behind it, etc., etc. So, I was standing behind my cousin's right shoulder giving him verbal instructions as he was taking aim at a cardboard target. He pulls the hammer back on the .357 Magnum and, by his own admission after the fact, he was confused as to why pulling the hammer back moved the trigger, so he turns to me to ask a question with his finger on the trigger. He inadvertently pointed the gun at me and the gun went off, all in one smooth motion of him turning to face me. I tasted GSR in my mouth, and felt the concussion of the blast in my chest. I calmly took the revolver from him and dumped the remaining rounds. My friend's eyes were wide as dinner plates and said, "Well, I think it's time to wrap this up." We cleaned up our things and headed home. The realization of just how close I came to getting shot didn't really sink in till later that evening. Apparently he went home and cried to his mother, although he was mainly just quiet with a few "I'm sorries" on the drive home. Remember kids, accidents can happen and they can happen in a blink of an eye. Too long did not read. Gave my cousin a loaded .357, and he turns around and pulls the trigger. Big rule at the range, gun pints down range. Have a question? Put the gun down and ask. Maybe some extensive classroom instruction should have been given prior to the range. Experiencing with an unloaded gun and explaining how the mechanisms work. There's a shooting range by me that rents full auto weapons, even to first-time shooters, supervised obviously, and the last time I was there a new shooter turned around finger on the trigger of a fucking loaded full auto MP5, survival of the fittest. How close was that round to hitting you? When I take a new or even beginner shooting, or experienced guy shooting with a new gun, I have us do a few rounds of dry fire. That way we learn how to handle and manipulate the weapon with no dangers involved. Also helps people who never shot understand what pulling a trigger feels like and practice some fundamentals of watch you sight. Did it move when it went click? Let's do it a few more times and see. Then we put one round in the magazine and experience the bang.